So I'll just go straight in.
Yeah,
Loved
cool.
the film.
Thank you very much.
How do you think your YouTubing background helped with you voicing the beavers?
I think it gave. I mean, I do a lot of voiceovers in my YouTube videos, so I guess maybe just kind of being comfortable with my own voice and knowing how to maneuver it. I'm not as good as Joe at that though, but
Yeah, so on my channel, I think one of the things that really sort of made it what it was I did a lot of impression videos on my channel. And it gets to a point where people will say like, just do an impression now then, and it's quite like nerve-wracking. You don't really want to do it unless you're prepared, if that makes sense. So like taking that and going into this is kind of like a nice little transition, I think.
So are you good at impressions in your like day-to-day life? Do you do a lot of
I'm
impressions?
always making stupid voices like all the time, and it's something
not
that's the thing-
stupid. They're brilliant.
But that's the thing, like this kind of see, like the idea of voicing a character is something that I love, and I've always loved. I've like, even when I was a kid, we used to have our own blank cassette tapes and record our own little, almost like, I guess like an old school podcast in a sense, but I would put on different character voices and sit there recording myself. There wasn't a lot to do in my village where I grew up. Sit there recording myself, making these little stupid voices, talking to each other. And it's weird to now think that's probably one of the reasons, that and obviously imagination and stuff is one of the reasons why this has now come around and this has all happened, so it's been brilliant.
So what would you say are your best impressions? Like who you're best at
Ooh.
impersonating? Or maybe the accents you're best at doing?
I'm not good at many. I mean,
I love doing like things like SpongeBob, like those kind of shows. I love doing it. See, this is what I was talking about. You put me on the spot.
Oh, do it.
But you're good.
That's
That
really
is good. You
So
could be in a
SpongeBob
cartoon.
laugh, you know what I mean? Like things like that. I was doing that from like.
I can
day
do.
one.
I can try to do Gandalf. You shall not pass.
Wow,
That was good.
that's really, really
That's
good.
really good.
So what sort of tips would you give people that would want to be a good voiceover artist? Because Jim Cummings says he has to be alone for a little bit just before to sort of get into the mindset
I
of the
think
person.
with this one, because we were so hyperactive the whole time, it was just about eating as many sweets as possible before shooting or recording. But yeah, I think just trusting your director and knowing that they know what they're doing, because it is you can't really hear yourself that well while you're doing it.
And it's also you're recording your lines, but you're recording lines over and over. But it's also you kind of want to know the context of the actual scene itself and know.
So read the script.
You're reading your line, but you want to know what sort is there desperation in the voice? Is there excitement in the voice, that kind of thing. For us, it was quite easy because we played very excitable beaver characters. So from the brief from the start, we sort of knew what we were doing. But I think it is a lot of case of practice and practice and practice. And for me, I do it a lot without knowing. Like I'm always making silly voices like around the house and stuff. So it's like it fits nice, but I can imagine, it takes a bit of time, I guess.
So you'd have like a sugary snack binge before you went into the recording studio.
Yeah.
What would you eat? Like Haribo's?
I got into my gummy bears.
With Scotch eggs, you were eating so many Scotch eggs. That's not really sugary, but he would always just eat at least 2 Scotch eggs before almost every
What does
take.
that have to do with my sugar eating?
That
was a,
That might
was
be
a
your
personal
secret.
piece of info. That was a secret.
loves a Scotch egg.
But yeah, I guess Scotch eggs.
Cool, good to know. So June's quite a creative kid and she like imagines obviously Wonder Park. What were you guys like as children? Did you play Action Man? Did you have imaginary friends?
All the time.
I was like very hullabaloo about life.
Yeah. I grew up in a very small village and I had to make do with my own imagination a lot of the time. I remember once me and my sister, we got these little like garden canes that you put in to grow beans and stuff, put them across the garden path at various places, and we pretend to be show horses and pretend to trot down the garden path and jump over these gardening canes. And then for a whole afternoon, we got properly into it. We literally grazed as horses, pretending we were horses for the whole afternoon. And that's imagination, isn't it?
I mean, it still sounds like a good game to play.
Yeah. I was a Shetland pony, which is a bit unfortunate.
The Shetland pony?
Yeah, because I could never make it over the canes. Because I struggled, because I had short little legs. My sister was a bit taller than me back in the day.
What was she, like a racing horse?
She was more of
Yeah.
like a prime kind of good racing horse, yeah.
And so when you started off your YouTube channel, did you ever imagine you'd be in a Hollywood movie? Like how many years on?
No, I don't. Not at all.
Not at all.
Sure.
You always
It's
sort of think
crazy.
to yourself, I wonder how big this could get. But when we started YouTube, I remember going into it honestly thinking, right, this is cool for now, but this could all be gone. Like this could be like a 2-year, 1 year even phase, and then YouTube could be like something like that's old news. Do you know what I mean? So sort of thought make the most of it. But then you always do dream and think, I wonder how big this could get, and you always think about the potential end goals of being like, imagine if I did do this, this, and this. But obviously, it seems like such a far away, like unrealistic thing. So to now see it become a thing, and to be asked to be in these kind of Hollywood films is it's a real honor and
Privilege.
Yeah, privilege. Yeah.